Hey, drama lovers! Welcome back to Drama Series Recaps. I'm Melody, and I'm here with my co host, Lara. And oh my God, we are absolutely not okay today because we just finished watching Lovely Runner. And Lara, I literally cannot stop crying. I finished it 3 days ago, and I'm still emotionally devastated in the best possible way.
Oh, Melody, don't even get me started. I've been walking around my apartment just randomly tearing up thinking about Sanjay and Imsol. My roommate asked me why I was crying while making toast this morning, and I couldn't even explain it without getting choked up again. This drama it hits different, you know?
It really does. And for anyone just joining us for the first time, welcome to our little corner of the internet where we completely lose our minds over Korean dramas. Today, we're diving deep into Lovely Runner, which honestly might be one of the most beautifully crafted time travel romance stories I've ever seen. We're going to break this down into 3 segments because there is just so much to unpack here. So much. And fair warning to our listeners, we are going to spoil absolutely everything today. If you haven't watched Lovely Runner yet, please go binge it and then come back to us because we are about to dissect every single moment that made us sob uncontrollably. Exactly. So in our first segment, we're going to talk about the setup and those early episodes that just wow, they really establish this incredible foundation. Then we'll dive into the middle episodes where things get absolutely wild with all the timeline changes. And finally, we'll discuss that emotional roller coaster of an ending that left us both complete messes. Before we jump in, though, I have to say, the casting in this drama is just phenomenal. Byun Woo-sak as Sanjay and Kim Hae-yoon as Im-sol, the chemistry between them is so natural and genuine. You can tell they really understood their characters on such a deep level. Oh, absolutely. And Kim Hae-yoon especially, playing a character who goes back in time and has to navigate all these different versions of relationships and situations while carrying the weight of knowing what happens in the original timeline, that's incredibly complex acting, and she just nailed it every single time. She really did. And you know what I love about this drama? It doesn't treat the time travel element as just a gimmick. It really explores the emotional and psychological impact of what it would actually be like to go back and try to change things. Im-sol's journey is so much deeper than just, oh, I'll go back and fix everything. Exactly, because she quickly realizes that changing one thing creates this ripple effect that affects everything else. And the show does such a beautiful job of showing how even small changes can have huge consequences. It's not just about saving Sanjay, it's about understanding that every choice matters. Right, and speaking of Sanjay, can we talk about how this drama completely subverts the typical male lead archetype? He's not this cold, aloof chaebol. He's this genuinely sweet, kind person who's dealing with his own struggles and insecurities. The way they developed his character felt so real and human. Oh my God, yes. The fact that he's this famous idol, but he's also just a regular person with real emotions and vulnerabilities. And the way their relationship develops, it's not insta-love or anything superficial. They build this genuine connection based on understanding and mutual support. And can we talk about how the drama handles mental health? Because that's such an important aspect of the story that I don't think gets discussed enough. Both characters are dealing with really heavy emotional burdens, and the show treats that with such care and sensitivity. Absolutely. Im-sol's depression after losing Sanjay in the original timeline is portrayed so realistically. It's not glamorized or simplified. And then, when she gets the chance to go back, her determination to save him isn't just about romance. It's about healing from that trauma and finding hope again. And Sanjay's struggles with the pressure of fame and feeling isolated, that's something that resonates with so many people, not just those in the entertainment industry. The loneliness and the feeling of being misunderstood despite being surrounded by people, that's so relatable. What really gets me is how the drama shows that saving someone isn't just about preventing one tragic event. It's about being there for them, supporting them, helping them find reasons to keep going. Im-sol realizes that just preventing Sunjae's death isn't enough if he's still struggling internally.
Exactly. And that's where the time travel mechanics become so interesting because, okay, so she goes back multiple times, right? And each time she learns something new about what Sunjae actually needs. It's not just about the external threats or circumstances.
Right. Like in the first timeline change, she focuses on just keeping him away from the specific situation that led to his death. But then she realizes that doesn't address the underlying issues that made him vulnerable in the first place. And that's when the story becomes so much richer because it's not just about changing events, it's about changing relationships, changing how people feel about themselves and their lives. Im-sol has to figure out how to genuinely connect with this younger version of Sunjae who doesn't know her yet. Oh, that's such a good point, because she has all these memories of their relationship, but to him, she's essentially a stranger, so she has to rebuild everything from scratch while also trying to guide him away from the path that led to tragedy. And the way she does that, it's so clever and heartbreaking at the same time. She finds these little ways to insert herself into his life, to become someone he can rely on and trust. But she also has to be so careful not to change too much too fast. Speaking of that, can we talk about the umbrella scene? Because I literally screamed when I saw it. The way they use that as this recurring motif throughout different timelines, it's such brilliant storytelling. Oh my God, the umbrella. That scene destroyed me because you can see how even in this new timeline, there's still this natural connection between them. Like fate keeps bringing them together in these small moments. And it shows how some things are just meant to be, you know? No matter how much the circumstances change, their souls recognize each other. It's so romantic, but also kind of heartbreaking because Im-sol knows what they had before, but she has to watch it develop all over again. What I love about the early episodes is how they establish Im-sol as this incredibly determined protagonist. She's not passive at all. The moment she gets the chance to change things, she's immediately making plans and taking action, but she's also not reckless about it. Right, she's strategic and thoughtful. She observes the situation, figures out the key moments and relationships that need to change, and then she executes her plan. But the drama also shows how emotionally toll-draining it is for her to do this. The emotional weight she carries is incredible. Like, imagine having to pretend you don't know someone you love deeply, having to slowly rebuild a relationship while knowing exactly how precious that person is and how much you have to lose. And then there's the added pressure of knowing that every choice could have unintended consequences. She can't just tell Sunjae everything because that might change him in ways that aren't good, or it might put him in danger in different ways.
Exactly. The drama does such a good job of showing how complex time travel would actually be. It's not just about knowing what will happen, it's about understanding the delicate balance of cause and effect and accepting that you can't control everything.
Can we also talk about how amazing the supporting characters are? Like Sunjae's bandmates, Im-sol's family, their friends, everyone feels like a real person with their own motivations and relationships. It's not just the Sunjae and Im-sol show. Oh, absolutely. His bandmates especially, they add so much depth to Sunjae's world. You see how much they care about each other, and it makes you understand why Sunjae's struggles affect so many people. It's not just about one person, it's about this whole network of relationships. And Im-sol's family dynamics, the way her brother and grandmother react to the changes in her behavior, how they worry about her but also support her, it makes everything feel so grounded and real. Speaking of family, can we talk about how the drama handles the concept of sacrifice? Because there are so many moments where characters have to choose between their own happiness and protecting someone else, and it's never portrayed as simple or easy. That's such a good point. Im-sol's journey is essentially one long series of sacrifices. She gives up her knowledge of the future, her memories of their original relationship, her own comfort and security, all to give Sunjae a chance at a better life. But it doesn't feel martyrish or unrealistic because the drama shows how much strength it takes to make those choices and how much it costs her emotionally. She's not suffering nobly in silence, she's actively fighting for something she believes in. And Sunjae, even though he doesn't know the full story, makes his own sacrifices throughout the different timelines. He chooses to trust Imsal even when things don't make sense. He puts her needs before his own career sometimes. It's reciprocal. Right, and that's what makes their relationship so beautiful. It's not one person saving the other, it's two people choosing to fight for each other in whatever way they can, even when the circumstances are incredibly difficult. Okay, so before we move into our second segment, I have to ask, what was your first impression of the time travel mechanics? Because I remember being a little worried at first that it might get too complicated or confusing. Honestly, I was a bit skeptical too. Time travel can be such a tricky storytelling device because if it's not done well, it can create plot holes or make things feel too easy. But Lovely Runner handles it so elegantly. They establish clear rules about how the time travel works, what triggers it, what the limitations are, and then they stick to those rules consistently. There's no Deus Ex Machina moments where suddenly the time travel can do something new that's convenient for the plot. Exactly. And they use the time travel to enhance the emotional story, not replace it. The focus is always on the characters and their relationships, not on the mechanics of traveling through time. All right, so that brings us to the end of our first segment. When we come back, we're going to dive into those middle episodes where things get absolutely wild with all the timeline changes and, oh God, Laura, I'm already getting emotional just thinking about some of those scenes. I know! The middle episodes are where this drama really shows its brilliance because it takes everything they established in the beginning and just amplifies it to this incredible emotional crescendo. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Drama Series Recaps. We are in the thick of our Lovely Runner discussion, and honestly, I'm still not over any of this. Laura, where do we even start with these middle episodes?
Oh my God, Melody, I think we have to start with that moment when Im-sol realizes that saving Sunjae once isn't enough. Like the whole timeline keeps shifting and she has to keep adapting her approach. That's when the story really opens up into something extraordinary. Yes. And what I love about this part of the story is how it shows that changing someone's fate isn't a one-time fix. It's an ongoing process of support and care and understanding. Im-sol can't just swoop in, prevent one bad thing, and then everything is magically okay.
Right, because life is messy and complicated, and people's struggles don't just disappear because one event is prevented. Sunjae is dealing with systemic issues, the pressure of fame, isolation, mental health struggles, and those things require ongoing attention and care.
And this is where the drama gets so psychologically complex, because Im-sol has to figure out how to be the support that Sunjae needs without being able to explain why she knows what he needs. She has to be incredibly intuitive and careful. Can we talk about the scene where she first approaches him in the new timeline and tries to become his friend? Because watching her navigate that conversation, knowing everything she knows but having to act like a stranger, it's some of the most emotionally complex acting I've ever seen.
Oh my God, yes. Kim Hae-yoon's performance in that scene is just chef's kiss. You can see all the love and desperation and hope in her eyes, but she has to keep it hidden. She has to let him come to trust her naturally while still guiding him toward better choices.
And beyond Woosok's response, the way he shows Sunjae's curiosity about this girl who seems to understand him in ways that others don't. You can see him being drawn to her but not understanding why, and it's so beautifully acted.
What really gets me is how the drama shows both characters falling in love again, but in a completely different context. Im-sol is falling in love with this version of Sunjae, who's younger and hasn't experienced all the pain from the original timeline, but he's still essentially the same person.
And Sunjae is discovering Im-sol for the first time, but there's this underlying sense that their connection is somehow familiar and right. It's like their souls recognize each other even when their minds don't have the full picture. That's such a beautiful way to put it. And the way the writers handled the development of their relationship in this new timeline, it's not just a replay of their original relationship. It's genuinely different because the circumstances are different, but the core connection is the same.
Exactly. Like their personalities are the same, their values are the same, the way they support and understand each other is the same, but the specific moments and conversations and experiences are all new. It's like they're writing a new love story on the foundation of their original connection. Can we talk about how the drama handles the butterfly effect? Because every time Im-sol changes something, it creates these ripple effects that she didn't anticipate, and sometimes those consequences are really difficult to deal with. Oh, absolutely. Like when she successfully keeps Soon-jae away from the original dangerous situation, but then that change leads to different problems that she didn't see coming. The drama doesn't make it easy for her. Every solution creates new challenges. Right. And that's so realistic. In real life, when we try to help someone or change a situation, we can't predict every outcome. Sometimes fixing one problem reveals or creates other problems that we didn't know existed. Right, and it shows how much courage it takes for Im-sol to keep trying despite not knowing what the consequences will be. She could make things worse. She could lose Soon-jae in a completely different way, but she keeps fighting because she believes their love is worth the risk.
Speaking of risk, can we talk about how the drama explores the theme of fate versus free will? Because that's such a central question throughout these middle episodes. Are Im-sol and Sunjae destined to be together, or are they creating their own destiny through their choices?
That's such a fascinating aspect of the story. On one hand, the time travel seems to suggest that some things are meant to happen, like their connection keeps manifesting no matter how the circumstances change. But on the other hand, Im-sol's ability to change outcomes shows that people do have agency over their lives.
I think the drama suggests that maybe fate creates opportunities, but we still have to choose what to do with those opportunities. Like, fate might bring Im-sol and Sunjae together, but they still have to choose to trust each other, to support each other, to fight for their relationship.
Exactly, and that makes their love story so much more meaningful, because it's not just that they're destined to be together, it's that they actively choose each other over and over again, even when it's difficult or scary or uncertain. Can we also talk about how the drama handles the passage of time? Because Im-sol experiences time so differently from everyone else around her. She has memories of a future that no longer exists, and she has to live in the present while constantly thinking about potential futures. Oh, that's such a good point. The psychological impact of that must be incredible. Like, imagine trying to form new relationships and live in the moment when part of you is always calculating how your current actions might affect future outcomes.
And she can't really share that burden with anyone, because how do you explain that you've traveled back in time to save someone? Even if people believed her, which they probably wouldn't, it would completely change how they interact with her.
Right, so she's carrying this enormous emotional weight all by herself, and she has to find ways to cope with it while still being present for the people she cares about. It's like she's living multiple timelines simultaneously in her mind. What I love about these middle episodes is how Im-sol grows and learns from each attempt. She doesn't just keep making the same mistakes, she adapts her approach based on what she learns about Sunjae and about the consequences of her actions. Yes, and she becomes more strategic, but also more emotionally intelligent. She starts to understand that saving Sunjae isn't just about preventing external threats, it's about helping him build internal resilience and happiness.
And that's when her approach shifts from just trying to control events to trying to nurture relationships and emotional connections. She realizes that Sunjae needs people who genuinely care about him and understand him, not just people trying to protect him from danger. Which brings us to one of my favorite aspects of the middle episodes, the way Im-sol gradually builds a support network around Sunjae. She doesn't try to be his only source of help and comfort. She helps strengthen his relationships with his bandmates, his family, other friends. That's so smart and realistic, because in real life, no one person can be everything to someone else. Mental health and emotional well-being require a whole ecosystem of support and connection. Im-sol understands that she needs to help Sunjae build that ecosystem. And it shows how much she truly loves him, because she's not trying to make herself indispensable to him. She's trying to help him build a life where he's genuinely happy and fulfilled, even if that means she's not the center of that life.
Although, can we talk about how heartbreaking it is to watch her do this? Like, she's putting so much energy into creating this beautiful life for him, but she can't guarantee that she'll get to be part of it in the way she wants to be.
Oh my God, yes. There are so many moments where you can see her struggling with the possibility that she might save him but lose him at the same time. What if the version of Sanjay who grows up in this better timeline doesn't fall in love with her? That fear is so palpable throughout these episodes. She's fighting for his life and happiness, but she's also terrified that the Sanjay she saves might be a different person who doesn't need her or want her in the same way. But I think that's what makes her love so pure and selfless. She chooses to save him anyway, even knowing that risk. She'd rather have him alive and happy without her than dead. And that's true love right there.
Absolutely. And the drama doesn't shy away from showing how much that choice costs her emotionally. There are scenes where she breaks down from the stress and uncertainty, and it's so important to show heroic choices aren't easy or painless. Can we also talk about how Sanjay responds to Im Sol's presence in his life during these middle episodes? Because even though he doesn't know the full story, he senses that she's special and important, and he starts to trust her instincts about things. Yes, and the way he starts to open up to her about her struggles and fears, you can see how much her support means to him, even when he doesn't fully understand why she cares so much or how she always seems to know exactly what he needs to hear.
There's that beautiful scene where he tells her about feeling lonely despite being surrounded by people, and she understands it so completely because she knows him so well, but to him it feels like this incredible moment of being truly seen and heard. And that scene is so important because it shows that their connection isn't just based on Im Sol's knowledge from the future. They genuinely have compatible personalities and emotional needs. They understand each other on a fundamental level. Right. Like, even if Im Sol didn't have the time travel advantage, these two people would still be drawn to each other because they fit together emotionally and psychologically.
Okay, but we have to talk about that absolutely devastating scene where Im Sol thinks she's failed and Sanjay is going to be in danger again. Lara, I was sobbing during that entire sequence.
Oh my God, don't even mention it. I had to pause the episode because I was crying so hard I couldn't see the subtitles. The way she realizes that despite all her efforts, the timeline is still heading toward disaster, it's absolutely heartbreaking. And her desperation in that moment, the way she's frantically trying to figure out what she missed, what she did wrong, how she can still save him, you can feel how much she loves him and how devastating it would be for her to lose him again. What really gets me is how the drama shows that sometimes, even when you do everything right, things can still go wrong. Im Sol makes good choices and thoughtful plans, but she can't control every variable. It's so realistic and so frustrating. But it also shows her resilience and determination. Even when it seems hopeless, she doesn't give up. She keeps fighting and looking for solutions because she refuses to accept that tragedy is inevitable. And this is where we really see Sunjin starting to step up too, right? He begins to sense that something important is happening, that Im Sol is fighting for something bigger than he understands, and he starts to trust her instincts even when things don't make logical sense. Yes, that's such an important development because it shows that saving someone isn't just about one person doing all the work. At some point, the person being saved has to participate in their own rescue. Sanjay has to choose to trust Im Sol and make different choices. Which brings us to that incredible climax scene where, oh God, I can't even talk about it without getting emotional. The way everything comes together and Im Sol has to make that final, desperate choice.
I know, and the way the drama builds up to that moment, all the careful relationship building, all the timeline changes, all the emotional growth, it all leads to this one crucial moment where everything hangs in the balance.
We're going to dive deep into that in our final segment because honestly, I need a minute to emotionally prepare myself. But before we wrap up this section, I just want to say how impressed I am with how these middle episodes balanced all the different plot threads and character developments without ever feeling rushed or overwhelming. Absolutely. The pacing is so well done. They give each emotional beat the time it needs to land, but they also maintain this underlying tension and momentum that keeps you completely invested in every moment. All right, we're going to take one more break, and then we're going to talk about that absolutely devastating and beautiful ending that left us both complete emotional wrecks. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Drama Series Recaps. Okay, Melody and Lara here, and we are about to dive into the ending of Lovely Runner, which I'm just going to warn everyone right now, we are probably going to cry during this segment. I'm already tearing up just thinking about it. The final episodes of this drama they're a masterpiece of emotional storytelling. Everything that was building throughout the series comes together in this absolutely perfect and heartbreaking and beautiful conclusion. Where do we even start? I think we have to talk about that moment when Im-sol realizes what the ultimate sacrifice is going to be, when she understands that saving Sunjae might mean erasing their entire relationship from existence. Oh God, that realization. The look on Kim Hyun's face when Im-sol figures out that she might have to choose between Sunjae's life and their love story. It's devastating because you can see her heart breaking even as she makes the choice to save him. And what makes it so powerful is that by this point, we've watched their relationship develop again from the beginning. We've seen how good they are together, how much they mean to each other. And then the drama asks whether she's willing to give all of that up. It's the ultimate test of selfless love, right? Like, would you sacrifice your own happiness in the most important relationship in your life to save the person you love, even if they might never love you back? And the answer for Im-sol is immediate and clear, which just shows the depth of her love. She doesn't hesitate or try to find a way around it. She just accepts that this is what needs to happen and prepares herself to make that sacrifice. Can we talk about Sunjae's role in the finale? Because even though he doesn't know the full truth about the time travel, he senses something monumental is happening. The way Byun Woo-seok portrays that intuitive understanding is incredible acting. Yes, you can see Sunjae picking up on Im-sol's emotional state, noticing that she's saying things that sound like goodbye even though he doesn't understand why, and he starts to fight for their relationship in his own way, even without knowing what he's fighting against. That scene where he tells her that he doesn't know what's wrong, but he knows that he can't lose her, oh my God, I was sobbing. The desperation in his voice, the way he's trying to hold on to something he can feel slipping away. And Im-sol having to respond to that while knowing what she's about to do. Like, she has to comfort him and love him and also prepare to let him go, all at the same time. The emotional complexity of that scene is just extraordinary. What I love about the finale is that it doesn't take the easy way out. The drama could have found some magical solution where everything works out perfectly and everyone gets what they want, but instead it commits to the emotional truth of the story.
Right. It honors the weight of the choices that have been made throughout the series. Im-sol has been fighting this battle for so long, making sacrifice after sacrifice, and the finale shows that the biggest sacrifice is still ahead of her. But it also shows the power of love to transcend circumstances, even when everything else is stripped away. Their memories, their history, the timeline they built together, the fundamental connection between their souls remains. And that's where the drama gets so beautifully philosophical about the nature of love and connection. Is love about the memories you share, or is it about something deeper and more essential that exists beyond specific experiences? Oh, that's such a beautiful way to think about it, because the finale suggests that true love isn't dependent on external circumstances or even shared history. It's about recognizing something in another person that speaks to your soul. And that's why even after Im-sol makes her sacrifice and the timeline resets, there are still these moments where Sunjae and Im-sol are drawn to each other. Their souls recognize what their minds have forgotten. Can we talk about the scene where Im-sol is preparing to let go of everything? The way she looks at Sunjae, memorizing his face, trying to hold on to every detail because she knows it might be the last time she experiences their love in this way. I cannot handle that scene. The way she's simultaneously heartbroken and peaceful.
heartbroken because she's losing everything that matters to her, but peaceful because she knows she's doing the right thing. It's such complex, beautiful acting. And then the actual moment of sacrifice, when she makes that final choice and you see everything starting to change around her. The way the drama visualizes the timeline shifting is so poetic and dreamlike. What gets me is how alone she is in that moment. Like, this is the culmination of everything she's been working toward, this ultimate act of love and sacrifice, and she has to do it completely by herself. No one else can even witness or understand what she's giving up. But there's also something so powerful about that solitude. It shows that true love isn't performative or conditional on recognition. She's not doing this to be seen as heroic or to earn anything in return. She's doing it purely because it's the right thing to do. And then we get to see the new reality that her sacrifice created. The timeline where Sanjay is safe and healthy and surrounded by people who love him. And even though Im-sol isn't part of that world in the same way, you can see that her love made it possible. That's what's so beautiful about the resolution. It shows that love doesn't always look like traditional romantic happiness. Sometimes love looks like creating the conditions for someone else to thrive, even if you're not directly part of that thriving. But the drama doesn't end there, which I think is so important. It shows us that love is persistent and resilient. Even in this new timeline where they don't have their shared history, Im-sol and Sanjay still find each other. Yes, and their new meeting feels both completely natural and somehow destined, like the universe keeps bringing them together because their connection is real and profound, not dependent on specific circumstances or memories. The way they're drawn to each other in the new timeline, it's like they're rediscovering something they always knew but had forgotten. There's this sense of recognition and comfort and rightness that transcends their rational understanding. And Sanjay in this new timeline is everything Im-sol worked to help him become. Confident, happy, surrounded by love, pursuing his dreams without the crushing pressure and isolation that led to tragedy in the original timeline. Which shows that her sacrifice wasn't in vain. She didn't just save his life. She saved his happiness, his potential, his ability to love and be loved. She gave him the gift of becoming his best self. Can we talk about the final scene? Because I'm getting emotional just thinking about it. The way they look at each other with this mix of familiarity and curiosity, like they're meeting for the first time, but also coming home.
Oh my God, that final scene. The way it suggests that they're gonna fall in love all over again, but in a completely new way. In this healthier timeline where they can both be their authentic selves without the weight of tragedy hanging over them.
It's so hopeful and beautiful. It shows that true love isn't just about one specific version of a relationship. It's about souls that are meant to connect, finding ways to connect, regardless of circumstances. And I love that the drama doesn't show us exactly how their new relationship develops. It leaves that to our imagination, which somehow makes it even more romantic and meaningful. Right, because we've already seen them fall in love twice. Once in the original timeline and once during Im-sol's time travel adventure. We don't need to see it again because we understand the inevitability and beauty of their connection. The ending also feels like such a complete circle. Im-sol started this journey because she couldn't accept losing Sunjae, and she ends it by learning to let go, while also discovering that some connections are too strong to truly lose. It's about the difference between holding on and trusting, right? Im-sol had to learn to trust that their love was strong enough to survive even the ultimate sacrifice, even the complete erasure of their shared history. And the drama proves that her trust was justified. Love finds a way. Maybe not the way you expect or plan, but a way nonetheless. I also want to talk about how satisfying this ending is thematically. Throughout the series, we've seen characters struggling with questions of fate, choice, sacrifice, and the nature of love.
The ending provides answers to those questions without being heavy-handed or preachy.
Exactly. It shows that fate and choice aren't opposites. They work together. Fate creates opportunities and connections, but we still have to choose what to do with those opportunities. We still have to choose love again and again. And it shows that sacrifice isn't about losing, it's about transformation. Im-Sol's sacrifice transforms not just Soonjae's life, but the entire universe of their story. She creates a new reality where love can flourish. Can we also appreciate how this ending respects the intelligence and emotional maturity of the audience? It doesn't spell everything out or provide easy answers. It trusts viewers to understand the deeper meanings and to appreciate the complexity of the themes. Yes, and it doesn't minimize the real pain and loss that Im-Sol experienced. The ending is hopeful, but it also acknowledges that her journey required real sacrifice and courage. It honors both the joy and the sorrow. Speaking of honoring things, can we just take a moment to appreciate the entire production of this drama? The writing, the acting, the direction, the music. Everything came together to create something really special. Oh, absolutely. The soundtrack especially. Those songs became so emotionally significant throughout the series. Hearing them during the finale just amplified every feeling and made every moment even more impactful. And the cinematography. The way they filmed those final scenes with the soft lighting and dreamy atmosphere perfectly captured the sense of love transcending time and space. You know what I keep thinking about? How this drama managed to be both deeply romantic and genuinely meaningful. It's a love story, but it's also about personal growth, mental health, the power of human connection, the importance of community. Right, it never feels shallow or superficial, even though it has all these fantastical elements. At its core, it's about real human emotions and experiences that everyone can relate to, even if we haven't literally traveled through time.
And I think that's why it affected us so deeply. Yes, the romance is beautiful and the time travel is fascinating, but underneath all of that, it's about the universal human experience of loving someone and wanting to protect them. It's about the lengths we'll go to for the people we care about and the courage it takes to make difficult choices when someone's well-being is at stake. Those are themes that resonate with everyone. Before we wrap up, I want to ask, what do you think you'll remember most about this drama? What's going to stick with you long after we finish recording this episode?
Oh, wow, that's such a good question. I think I'll remember the way it portrayed love as an action rather than just a feeling. Im-Sol's love for Sunjae wasn't just romantic sentiment. It was active, persistent, courageous, sacrificial. It was love as a verb.
That's beautiful. For me, I think I'll remember the hope. Even in the darkest moments, even when everything seemed impossible, the drama never lost sight of the possibility that love could triumph and heal and transform. It was relentlessly hopeful without being naive.
And I'll remember how it made me think differently about the relationship between fate and choice. I used to think of them as conflicting concepts, but this drama showed me how they can work together in beautiful ways.
Yes, and I'll remember how it honored both the pain and the joy of loving someone deeply. It didn't pretend that love is always easy or that sacrifice doesn't hurt, but it showed that the pain is worth it when it comes from genuine caring.
This drama definitely goes on my list of shows that changed something in me. It's not just entertainment, it's a meditation on love and time and the choices that define our lives.
Absolutely. And I think it's one of those dramas that will reveal new layers each time you watch it. There are so many subtle details and emotional nuances that become more meaningful once you understand the complete story.
Okay, we should probably wrap up before we both start crying again, but honestly, I could talk about this drama for hours more. There are so many beautiful moments and meaningful themes that we didn't even get to discuss.
I know. Maybe we'll have to do a follow-up episode where we dive into specific scenes or talk about the supporting characters more. This drama is just so rich and layered. For our listeners, if Lovely Runner isn't already on your watch list, please do yourselves a favor and go watch it immediately. It's funny and heartbreaking and romantic and profound, and it will completely wreck you in the best possible way.
And if you've already seen it, please let us know your thoughts. We'd love to hear which scenes affected you the most, what themes resonated with you, whether you cried as much as we did. You can find us on all social media platforms at Drama Series Recaps. And don't forget to subscribe and leave us a review if you enjoyed this episode. Your support means everything to us and helps other drama lovers find our little corner of the internet. Next time, we'll be diving into another incredible series that left us emotionally devastated. I won't spoil which one yet, but prepare yourselves for more tears and more passionate discussions about why Korean dramas are superior to all other forms of entertainment. Thank you so much for listening to our completely unhinged rambling about Lovely Runner. We love getting to share our drama obsessions with all of you, and we'll be back next week with more feelings and more questionable emotional stability. Until then, keep watching amazing dramas and keep believing in the power of love to transcend time and space and circumstances. We love you all, and we'll see you next time on Drama Series Recaps.